Countless people rely on their pensions to pay for their expenses. They paid into a system and now they want to be able to reap the rewards. But it doesn't always work that way. Sometimes things go missing. Other times things turn sour. With pensions, it's a very serious issue for the individual. You came here for the truth. Today we are going to focus entirely on the Kentucky pension funds. Let's get into it right away. This is a proposal brought to the Kentucky government. It's directly on their website, and I want to note that this is not official legislation yet. They have a very serious problem. They have to fix that problem. This is one of the proposals. It will be something like this, I assure you. It's just a matter of time. They wouldn't be the first. And why are they doing this? Because they have a shortfall. Let's get into that. Focus on the chart on the right hand side and you will see the worst funded pension ratios, aggregate of state liabilities. Kentucky, congratulations, you're in 50th. That's right, at 37.4%, Kentucky makes it to the number 50 spot. That's worse than New Jersey, Illinois, Connecticut, and Rhode Island. Even the average at 73% is not enough. It needs to be 100% funded. You can't do this. The banks believe in fractional reserve banking, and yet you have the pensions doing the same thing. People have been paying into the pensions every single day of their lives. As they're working, they're paying in. And they expect that there's something waiting for them on the other side. They rely on that. It's literally life and death for some people. It's the difference between sleeping in their house or sleeping on the street. 37%, it has already gone far beyond critical levels. We are talking about an issue that will not be resolved unless there are cutbacks. Whoa, did I just suggest that? Because I see that I'm being called every name in the book. Look at the comment section and you will see all the names and you will see the lies spoken about yours truly. But I don't care. I'll be ridiculed because I'm there to do my best to shine the light on these crises. The pension crisis is here today. It's not going to be in the future. It's here today. People are losing out on their pensions. Now, I believe that people shouldn't even rely on their pensions to begin with. I am not a fan of these. But there are people that are relying on them. And that's just a matter of fact. So we have to stand up for that. We have to do what we can to yell as loud as we can to make sure that people know what's coming for them. Okay, this is a very important article. Let me cover it as quickly as possible. Huge pension changes. I love that. Changes. We all know what that means. Proposed for Kentucky's public workers. Okay, let me just cover a few points within this. An independent consultant recommended sweeping changes to the pension systems that cover most of Kentucky's public workers, creating the possibility that lawmakers will cut payments. Here we go. Cut payments to existing retirees and force most current and future hires into a 401k style retirement plan. I talked about those in my book. I've talked about them on my videos. You don't want anything to do with that. Okay, you don't want anything to do with any of this anyway. But think about this. A person right here, he's been retired for 10 years. He can't work anymore. He is, perhaps he's elderly. He is probably not in the best condition. He's, let's say, 75 years old, and he's been living off this pension, and that's what's keeping him afloat. So he makes, let's just make up some numbers here, $1,000 a month, and that pays for everything, and he's able to save, let's say, $100 a month. Okay, so he has that $100 of savings in the bank. It goes there. Maybe he gives a little bit to his children or grandchildren or what have you, and so there he is doing what he has to do. Now, all of a sudden, the Kentucky pension starts paying out $800. Well, that's a problem. Actually, in this example, he's going to get $750, and I'll tell you why in a moment. So $750. So what happens now? Well, he is now digging into debt every single month. Month after month after month, he has to dig deeper and deeper and deeper. So maybe he downsizes his home. Maybe he has to sell off his car if he still has one, or does he even own the home? Who knows? All I know is that people are on pensions may not be doing that well, so they have to go onto the government assistance, and that is a big, big problem. People don't do well on that. You know that. I mean, it's some people do it even though they perhaps are abusing the system, but nobody's living well off that, or at least most people aren't. You don't want that. You don't want to see that happen. And if you believe that somehow cutting back on the pensions is necessarily going to fix the problem, that's not how it works. What happened to the money? Where did it go? The stock market is rising. The stock market continues to rise. We see that. Even with all the situations that are going on in the news recently, let's not say any names, a few major issues. The stocks just, they don't care. They just go up. As long as Janet the Felon is there, everything is good. So, what can we do? What can we do about the shortfall that we are experiencing? Well, this is the time to act. It's not the time to kick the can down the road. Wait a second. Let's see what they've suggested. It would effectively end the promise of a pension check for most of Kentucky's future state and local government workers and freeze the pension benefits of most current state and local workers. Think about that. So you may not get one in the future, even though the people before you did, as well as the fact that the people who are supposed to be getting it now are going to get less. All of these workers would then be shifted into a 401k style investment plan garbage that offers defined employer contributions rather than defined retirement benefit. So, of course, this is just another way for the banking establishment to make more profit. All right, and they said that the retirement age should be 65. So whatever it is at now, it's going to increase. 65 won't be enough because by the time it gets there, then it's 67, then it's 70, then it's 71, then it's so on. The 401k style plans would require mandatory, I love that, employee contribution of 3%. Then it goes on. Basically, it says everyone puts in a little bit for you. You have to put in a little bit. And that's what I hate most about it. And they do this because, supposedly, people can't save for themselves. So when they're 65, they didn't save a dime. They're going to have to come to the government and they're going to have to get money. But you want them to have some payout. So you basically say, look, but from your 25 to the time you're 65, you're paying into the system for 40 years, and you will then, at the end of that, for the however long you're living, you're going to get a little bit of money coming to you every month. That's wonderful. However, these people that have been paying in for 40 years, all of a sudden now, instead of getting that $1,000, they're getting $750. But what happened? The stock market didn't go down. Their contributions didn't go down. They already paid. But they're getting $750. They are being screwed over royally. And I'm not even, like I said, let me remind you, I'm not for pensions. I'm not for any of these 401ks. I'm not for any of this. I'm just talking about the people that are being hurt by this. This is really bad. Because they're not the only ones. Look at all of the others that I showed you in that chart there. States can't afford it. The public workers that are relying on it are going to be in big trouble. Let me just stop ranting here for a second. Based on what they're recommending here, taking away all cost of living benefits that the state and local government retirees received between 96 and 2012, a move that could significantly reduce the monthly checks. For example, A worker who was retired in 2001 or before could see their benefit rolled back by 25% or more. 1/4. 1/4. What if you as an individual, if your paycheck at your work, you work a 9 to 5 and they're paying you that $1,000 a month, now you're making $750. Are you able to pay the rent? Are you able to pay your food? Are you able to pay your living expenses? Are you? Maybe. Maybe you got to cut some things. Maybe you got to struggle with some things. But some people are living paycheck to paycheck. Some people are up to their chin in debt. And this will crush them. This will hurt them. And people do not realize that. Call me every name in the book, but I don't care, because there are people out there who are not going to be dealing with this very well. I'm trying to put it as nice as possible. All right. The state public pension systems have a combined shortfall of at least $37 billion. There's no way. There is no way they're going to be able to somehow pay this back. It's going to take at least 30 years to satisfy these obligations, and it's going to be painful. It's not going to be fixed in the short term. Of course not. Of course not. They're not going to pay people. This is what I've been warning about for years. I've been talking about this for years, and yes, I've been ridiculed. That's fine. Look at me. Look at who I am. David Quintieri, I'm here to warn you, and I don't care if I'm ridiculed, because these people who are relying on their pension funds, who have been paying into the system, who have been paying into their 401ks, who have been paying into their RSPs, their supers, they've been paying into the paper assets, their segregated accounts, they have money that's being stored away, and they think that they're going to be able to get it all back when the time comes. And I'm telling you right now, that is not the case. You are going to get screwed over. To certain degrees, some people are worse than others, but you are going to get screwed over if you're one of these people. That's all for this video. If you found it informative, please give me a thumbs up. I wish my delivery was better. I'm trying to do my best. I'm just trying to warn people. When I see something going on, I just point it out. I hope you appreciate that. I appreciate your support. If you found the video informative, I know you'll find my books, The Money GPS and my new release, Global Economic Collapse, even more informative. You can flip through these books at Amazon. The links are in the description below, where you can actually take a look through the first book, The Money GPS. That's basically about the 4 asset classes and how to profit from them. Whereas my new book is a lot of the same issues, but I get into the Money GPS strategy, and that is basically reducing your monthly expenses, your tax incentives, and becoming self-sufficient. So check those out. And wanted to let everybody know I've been diversifying out of this site. You know what I'm talking about, can't say that word. And I've been going on to Steemit and also on VidMe. So Steemit, you can check that out if you're into cryptocurrencies or not. Doesn't really matter. DTube as well. So you can check those out in the description below. Take care and good night.